So he mentioned sex is man's greatest desire and downfall, and that's on page 191. Do you agree or disagree?
Yes and no. It's funny. We were having a laugh and a joke about that like a couple of days ago. I forget where I started the conversation. What I was talking about. What was I talking about? Shit. I was talking about protection, like, and people's yeah, it was like I'm not going to be specific, but we're talking about people not wanting people not wanting to wear it, and the results as a consequence to it. You know what I mean?
But that's nothing to do with that's nothing to do with the question, though, bro.
No. You're talking about, is it man's greatest downfall? And I'm like, yeah, because there are consequences to it. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily that you're in a hurry to have sex, but because you're not, let's say, not protecting yourself or thinking straight in some cases. Not because you don't wear protection doesn't mean you're not thinking straight. But for some people, it can be like that. You find yourself in trouble, or you haven't thought things through.
The movies will have you believe that women and sex and all that is the man's greatest downfall. In reality, I don't think it is, man. Personally.
Okay, why'd you say that?
That in reality, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
When we say downfall, we're talking about in terms of that life aspirations, business aspirations, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm thinking.
It could be across the board. It can be across the board. I'm gonna put an example down what he does mention, and we can take it from there. But just go based strictly off what we've spoken about so far.
If you're so not single-minded, the right word. If you're so driven and you have a target and an aim, I'm telling you, you'll have that tunnel vision and nothing is stopping or distracting you. I'm telling you, nothing.
Yeah, but it's your. Yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying there. Like, I think if you've got a vision and, like, you know, almost like this is your destiny. This is what you're put on earth to do, and there's certain things that you'll resist to get to it. But not everyone's like that. Like, that's not every man's kind of mindset. I think we're talking about general. So I think sex is man's greatest desire, and on the flip side, on the same coin, it's their greatest downfall, because you allow it to, well, not everyone, but you allow it to take over and make decisions just because you're chasing it and you're trying to bust that nut all the time. I think maybe it's more of at a younger age. As you get older, you mature and you start to see things and realize this isn't what it's all about. But to an extent, even you still get men in an older age still succumbing to sex and getting blackmailed or some kind of scandal when it comes to sex. You know what I'm saying? It's one of our biggest downfalls, man.
Bro, like one.
I think like what's that saying? They say a man's biggest test is a woman. And what's the flip side? I can't remember now off the top of my head. The woman's biggest test is. Do you know what? It's completely gone, so I'm not even going to try and finish it. But there is a saying in regards to that statement still, but I can't remember, so I can't think of how to end that one there. Anyway.
No. I think obviously you didn't say it, but I was intently there because I thought you were gonna drop that gem. But maybe we'll.
Do you know what? It's there, but it's off the top of my head, I can't remember. But it's very poignant. If I get to it at some point before we finish, then I'll air it out.
Like, sorry, I just think like we've all been in situations where we haven't been thinking straight, and then as to a female, and then once that cloud disperses, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking about? You know what I mean?
But sometimes by then it could be too late, as you said, because you may not have gone in with your plastic or your hat, and who knows what happens. Do you know what I'm saying? You might end up with a lifetime child or whatever or not. Do you know what I'm saying? It can happen, but it does happen, obviously. But I was going to make a point that he says in the book, then ask the question. He says, I know how fun it is to knock down as many beautiful chicks as possible. Every day, every man is tempted by another woman for purely sexual reasons. So young black male, I'm not saying pursuing a bunch of women sexually is not exciting or temporarily gratifying as heck. I'm saying the pursuit of true intimacy with a real love soulmate is the gratification plus so much more. So with that being said, should we continue to push the narrative for young men to go and sow their seeds and flip it and do the same for women to be liberated?
I don't know if anyone. I don't think. I'll send the link obviously after. There's a series on YouTube called The Athlete. It's called The Athlete. No, I Am Athlete. That's what it's called. You got like 3 or 4 American footballers who sit around like
Oh, I've seen that still. I've seen that.
Decent, very, very good watch. I was watching. I think the most recent episode was about. Well, I don't know what it was about particular, but like they're throwing up the scenario of should you settle down straight away. Now, one of them was saying that he was mentoring someone, and the guy asked him, what I want to do is I want to get this girlfriend now so that I don't fall foul of a bad situation in 4 or 5 years' time when I got all this money. And the guy was saying, don't do that, essentially. He goes, I understand why. I know what you're thinking. I know what the thinking is behind it, but you're going into something which you may not be 100% committed to because of actual notion rather than allowing things to develop as such. Whereas, like, it's, I almost forgot your question as such, but like, so what was your question?
With that being that, should we continue to push the narrative for young men to go and sow their seeds, and if so, flip it and do the same for women to be liberated?
No, go live your life, man. Go live your life, and then once you find love, Then you can be committed to someone. But if you haven't found love, then obviously I wouldn't advise that. But as to the example I was trying to give, you got a guy I'm not saying he was trying to force the situation. He was in a relationship, but he wanted to lock it down. So he's got no problems moving forward in the future, just in case he falls out of that relationship. And then later on down the line, because he's got money, women are coming to him for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't, I don't know, he's trying to manufacture a situation. More often than not, when you try to manufacture those situations, particularly where there's emotions involved, like it doesn't work out, unfortunately.
I agree with P. Live your life, but what I would say is when I look back on it, bruv, like when I was a kid, when I was younger, it was all the almost a peer pressure, like it's what you do is try and get girls. It's bullshit. It's absolutely BS in my opinion.
It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game.
Yeah, none of that counted. Like what I would say is, if you found someone or find someone, and it's hard to know if you're going to be dead serious when you're in your late teens, early 20s, whatever. But you change. Everyone grows as people, always growing constantly as people. But if you found or find someone, trust me, just and you're happy. There's nothing else out there, bro. In terms of like just all the holes, they might have different angles and stuff, but they're all the damn same, boy. It's just fresh and bone, boy. Different shapes and sizes. Yeah.
But what about the second part of the question, which was in regards for flipping it? Yeah, for the women, like, should they just be out doing?
No, when I was younger, I used to like if a man's beat out a few things, it's like he's a G. But when a woman, as soon as she's got a couple things under her belt, boy, I ain't wifing. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bro, the older I get, man, everyone has a life to live in it. Do what makes you comfortable and happy, and all the rest of it. Everyone has a life to live. No one should be able to tell someone how to live their life. Just live your own life and be happy. Don't live the life that you like someone else wants you to live in it. If your life is actually you want to keep that thing private and just let it go to a couple man in your lifetime, so it be. And if you want to let off the 500 man and you find your Prince Charming and he's okay with that, and he's okay with that, that bias that you've been through, so it be.
Yeah, no, I agree with you still. I agree with that. What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Mason, if I'm honest, really. I mean, I'm not here to be judging women based on, not even judging women. I mean, you're allowed to do what you want, truth be told.
See, like, I was gonna say like now, Pete, I'll give you like, say like you met a chick, 3 months, things are like you've got a mad connection whereby she gets you and you get her and you're both like wacky and no one's ever got you before ever. Then she drops you. The only problem is like a wild child, like I ran through like 65 man went between 20 and 26 or whatever, yeah? How would you feel now? And how would you have felt if at 21 you'd met that same chick and she said I've ran through 60 to 65 man?
Cool. I think when you present those scenarios to people, they're detached from the actual situation. So I think it's very easy to say, "Nah,
That's a good point.
I'm not doing that, man."
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
however, when you're actually in a situation,
Yeah.
I think it's completely different. I remember I was talking to a girl, actually very pretty. Anyway, that's regardless of situation. But I was talking to someone, and there were slight rumors as to this, that, and the third. I was like, nah, this girl's mad cool, and I like this girl. Why would I not want to? I don't see why I should take the immature road and not talk to her because she has a little past. Now, bro, I'm 35. I ain't got time for no shit. Like, for some listening to what other. I couldn't give a monkey's what other people think. Of course, I know there's a small percentage of us that obviously we want a sense of acceptance based on what other people think and opinions and things like that. But I can't be worried about other people's opinions based on the way I want to live my life and who I want to live my life with. 60 women, like within a couple of years, men, sorry, I'm not going to lie, some of it sounds crazy, but like, put me in that situation if I'm talking to someone who I believe I could spend the rest of my life with. Come on, bro.
All right, so he goes on to say on in regards to, I guess, a particular type of woman, he says she'll play with your heart, emotions, and money. She'll break your heart and bank account all in one sexual fiasco. As a man, you never want to be in a situation where a woman misuses you and turns you into a feminine victim. And that's on page 198. And my first thought when I read that was that one account all in one sexual fiasco is like, he must be referring to setup chicks. So relating it back to like the younger black male demographic, especially in the hood or urban areas, you could say they have it harder socially because of social media. They need more drip. They need to be more flashy. So there's always got that added pressure to be looking fly. What advice would you give on how to navigate in this time, especially at this stage in their life?
I'm not actually, as to women, yeah. So how old is this person?
No, but it's relating to the young black male having to be aware of that there's these kind of girls that are like set up chicks that are out there. But obviously with social media, like you've got to be drippy on the gram. You've got to be having certain watches or clothes and whatnot. So it's a lot more accessible for people to see what you're doing and whatnot. So in this time that we're in, I'm asking, what advice would you give on how to navigate in this time, especially at the stage in their life when they're early teens or late teens, early 20s, essentially?
I don't know if this is poor advice, but I mean, okay. I think obviously you need life experience to have a sense of wisdom. All right. Now, if someone like I've had a girl call me at early hours in the morning when we were 15, 16 years of age and said, "Come link me in an estate." I knew straight away that was a problem. I knew straight away that was a problem. I wasn't going there. I didn't need to say, "Yo, Mason, should I go link this so and so?" I didn't need to do that. I knew.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying these kids. I know they're smart enough to. Obviously, we all fall foul to situations. Things happen. But I like to believe you should be able to trust your judgment and know that, if you're asked to go to a certain place, kind of like use your, I don't know, use your, I don't want to say your common sense, but just understand those things maybe a little bit better. Or something I was going to say, I've lost it, bro. Don't wear your net worth don't wear your net worth running around.
No, you say that, P, but like, think about, this is what I'm saying, especially in nowadays, like when we was younger, that kind of age group, like you can have jewels and you can have certain things, but not anyone can see it. Like, unless you're in front of my face, like, you're not gonna know that I've got a Tom on. You're not gonna know that I might have a kettle on, unless you've heard about it or you see me out and about. But nowadays, more or less, the world can see everything that you've got if you're putting it out on the Instagram. So you don't know what kind of angle a chick might be coming at you from, because they may have seen you from a distance, but you don't even know that they're looking to set you up just based on what they've seen on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. I'm going to say what you said before. I know it's a not a common phrase, but I know it's a phrase that's out there. Success leaves clues, and so does people's downfall. It leaves clues. Like anything bad. We're talking about we're talking about drug dealers, for goodness sake. Those individuals who, I don't know, amassed a certain amount of money, and then bam, out of nowhere, they've gone to jail. Somewhere along the lines, some set of clues may have been left as to why they found themselves arrested, or even, I don't want to use Pop Smoke as an example, but because obviously he's passed away, but it's not even a rumor, but like he had like his stuff online, you saw his address as to where he was staying, and then bang, now some common practices ensure you don't have your address on no social media, as to like whether it's tags, bags, all that type of stuff. Make sure your address is not showing, is not on view, because people are watching. Not only people are watching for entertainment, but people are looking for opportunities to take things from other people.
Me and my barber had this conversation. Actually, we've had this conversation, and he said to me, like, I feel sorry. He even says for my age group, but then I know he's referring to a younger age group. He goes, I feel sorry for you lot. He goes, what do you mean? I goes, all this social media and the type of females that are out there now, in terms of like all this kind of this thing you need to live up. You can live up to this thing, to this kind of fakeness that your life's incredible. I feel sorry for you lot. It's all fake. I feel sorry for you lot to find a good, honest, genuine woman in this day and age. He says it all the time. He says, I feel sorry for you lot because of the internet and the accessibility, as you put it, and a man's got this, a man's got that. And in terms of like a young guy who's maybe a young footballer, a young rapper, young whatever, who's getting money and getting himself a name, in terms of keeping himself safe from the setup chicks and keeping himself safe from those that just want to leech onto man for a couple of years for the lifestyle, I do not know. The only way, that, unfortunate as it is, the only thing they can do is they're gonna have to meet someone or get with someone who's in that same world as them. Not necessarily a female rapper. If you're a male rapper, not necessarily female, but someone like, like a Stormzy and Maya Jama, of a level where they can both maintain themselves. And actually, they don't need each other to be a certain status or success. That's the only way. Because if they find a hot spice that just poses up and models up online, but that doesn't come from anything, she might just want to leech onto man for a couple of years to build up her fame and reputation and whatnot. So I don't know what the answer is. It's a tricky world out there for them people there that are on the gram like that, on social media.
Yeah. I echo some of what you both say, and I think more so what P was saying in regards to. But then even, do you know what? It's funny. Even as I was going to answer, I now think about even a rebuttal is like, you've got to be in it to win it. So it's like, all right, cool. You can tell a young boy, like, look, don't put your jewels up on the Instagram. But if you don't put your jewels up on the Instagram, they ain't gonna know. And if they don't know, then you ain't getting no love. So it's like a catch-22 kind of thing. So it really is a different kind of environment that we're living in right now. But I would definitely say, to back up what you're saying, P, is use your instincts, use your head, innit? Like if you feel something, if you feel something's not right, then it probably isn't right more often than not. But yeah, it's strange times that we're living in with the whole social media and the impact that it's having. It's unprecedented. So it's very hard to really give distinct advice to something that is brand new. So yeah, unfortunately, I personally couldn't really add to that myself.
There's a very sticky age range or space growing up, whereby, because at the age we're at now, yeah, I've got a Casio watch on, yeah, and I love it, yeah. The age we're at now, yeah, for any of us to find a woman in our age range, she's in my head, as long as she's got a half decent level of maturity, she's gone past that stage where you can impress her with a BM and a roll. She like now she's more interested in other stuff in life, like sustainability, growing as all that. She's gone past that young girl stage, but there's a stage where
you say that, but there are still girls out there are still like that's you need to have those things in order for them to even look at your way.
Yeah, that's very poor. Because in my head, there's a certain stage where if a man's got a rollie but has got a half single bedroom at his mum's, then he can mash. He can mash. But that's not happening like 35, 40. That's not happening. You can't have a one rollie and then you know what I mean. You ain't got nothing else. That's not for a woman.
Man are doing that out there.
For a woman that I'll be going for, that wouldn't be happening where she'd think you've got a rollie and nothing else. Yeah, I'm good. Nah,
Sorry, do you mean someone? I mean, not that I disagree with anything you said, but someone who you're ultimately going to be in a relationship with, or someone who you're just going to, I don't know, you're going through that early stage. Because this, I mean, what I'm saying, I'm gonna phrase this wrong, but the entry point to having sex with someone is lower than is it lower than it's ever been? That's not even what I wanted to say, but you don't need to do much in some I don't know. No, what I mean, like you haven't got so I'm assuming in some way before Mason was talking about relationship. I'm talking about if I'm just seeing someone, I mean, you don't need to, of course you got to give your personality and a bit more than that, but I mean, you go out a couple times, this, that, and the third, you have a bit of fun, and then somewhere along the line that you may have sex. And what I'm saying is there's not like a really high entry point is not the word I'm looking for, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Entry point.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. That's why I said I don't want to say entry point. I think I know. I think.
Yeah, I follow. I get you. Definitely get you. Just to wrap it up on this chapter though, I want to read a couple excerpts, then we'll move on to the next chapter 12. So he mentions a distracted man is often an unsuccessful man. So despite the temptation of conquering various women for various reasons, these sexual pursuits leading to overwhelming drama are not worth it at all. And that's on page 199. Trust me, I know controlling our sexual desires as men is extremely difficult task for us all. And this is Chris Freeman speaking, or one of the authors speaking. However, I believe a man who can control and productively channel his sexual energy is as powerful as any other man on the planet. Sex represents opportunity and challenge, just like life. This power to control the deepest desires of our body with the strongest capabilities of our mind is the epitome of a real power for a man who can conquer his own worldly ambitions, and that's on page 205. So that last part that I just mentioned, that essentially what he's talking about is sexual transmutation. And if you guys remember, that's something that was discussed in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and that's definitely something I've definitely mentioned it within the group at different times in terms of how about using sexual transmutation to increase my productivity in other areas of my life. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this phenomenon called no fap.
I don't think so, no.
Well, basically, it's essentially it's semen retention. It's
yeah,
not,
I mean, okay, cool. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's not knocking out. It's not having a 5-finger shuffle. It's not having sex. It's basically you using the energy that you would use to exert whilst having sex and using it to transmute it to a productive task, whether it is working on yourself, mindset, working on a book per se, or working on your business, whatever it may be, but using that energy that you would have, that you would do for sex and using it for more beneficial reasons. So that's what he's talking about in terms of being able to have that self-control and being able to yeah, sustain, basically, sustain, which is easier said than done, as we know, as he mentions. But moving on to chapter 12.
Sorry, quickly, let me just do a quick cleanup on R11. As to as to what I was talking about before in terms of easy barrier to entry, like, no, a quick example would be Bumble. Like, swipe. I could link someone tomorrow, and who knows what happens. That was kind of what I was getting at.
Because you're on there.
Sorry, yeah, I know, but like that was kind of what I was getting at. That's giving an example. But yeah, I know what you're talking about in terms of abstaining. Really, we've had this conversation before. You've asked me, how is it this, that, and the third. There's times when I've gone without for a very, very long time. Self-imposed ban, all that type of stuff. But you know what? Like, for me, like, even now, like, I've in my mind, although I'm like using these apps at this moment in time, I know I am not linking no one until, like, where are we? We're in November. I'm not linking no one until like not mid next year, like till Jan, Feb, March. But I know that because, you know what, I just find this at this moment in time, it's a distraction to me. I don't need no distraction. I've got things to do.
Quick devil's advocate one, yeah. If you matched up with a bird right now, and you put it on the plate, are you sustaining still?
Probably not. But what point I'm making is no. The point I'm making is that I've made a choice that actually is more trouble than it's worth at this moment in time. I am prepared to abstain and be productive. And there's times when I have been working, whether I was going back and forth from Barcelona and doing this and doing that, is more trouble than it's worth to stop a shift, go home, get changed, probably get a shape up, this, that, and the third, and then go. That's long. That is long. And I sit there and I think, yo, that is long. I can have a bit of fun in a couple months' time. Before the pandemic, I promised myself, I was like, you know what? June, July, August, September, I'm going to have the time of my life. Not no work, but I was like, there are no rules. No rules. I'm going to have a good time. But obviously, we're in the pandemic now, you know what I mean? Or we're in the situation where we're in lockdown and you make decisions. Whereas obviously in that period, in the summer period, I made the decision that I was going to go and I was going to have fun before the pandemic happened. I mean, drink your poison, people. You can abstain, you know what I mean, and be fruitful, or you can go out linking bare chicks, and it's a distraction sometimes.
Yeah, no, it definitely can be. It's a lot of energy. You got to remember, it is energy that you're giving out at the end of the day. Like, it is, if you're depleting your energy, the more you're out licking down this one and that one still. So depending on what your objective is as well.
Of course. So just before you move on to chapter, I think it's 12, there's one quote that I thought was really interesting. It said, if you don't love yourself, your neighbor's in trouble. I just thought that was hard. There's a number of one-liners in the book. Before you move on, I just thought that's a very, very interesting one. And obviously, in the environments we live in, there's a lot of forget even just like our area. You know what I mean? It's like everywhere, but predominantly, obviously, in some of the environments we live in, if there's a lack of self-love, that's when it usually pops off.